We're talking hits with Corey Kent. And Corey, welcome to the most impactful countdown in country music. How goes it?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. Good stuff to talk about.
That's right, man. We got a lot to talk about. First of all, you're an Oklahoma boy. I'm a Texas boy. So you know what? You're my neighbor. Just want to give you a shout out. You represent an amazing line, right, of country history in Oklahoma. Let's see. There's Reba, Garth, you got Blake, you got Carrie, you got Corey Kent. Am I missing anyone?
I mean, you got Zach Bryan, you got Kings of Leon, you got Turnpike Troubadours. Yeah, there's a lot of us. There's a lot. We can keep going.
I love that you're so proud of it, obviously. You know,
I am, man. I have to be because I'm married a Texan and we made a few Texans and they remind me all the time that I'm not a Texan. Even though I live there, I live in Texas, but I'm still somehow, you can create Texans and not be adopted somehow. I don't know.
What's amazing is, man, you started out, right, as a singer of a sort of a Western swing band. You're like 11 years old. And then from what I understand, one time you were attending a Willie Nelson show and you actually got brought up on the stage to perform with Willie.
That was a crossroads moment of my life. Growing up in that Oklahoma scene, like Texas swing, Western swing's a big thing. So my first ever show was at Kane's Ballroom, sold out crowd, opening for Asleep at the Wheel and the Texas Playboys. I was 11. And I say that, I need to preface that by saying, like, I'm not some prodigy. Like, I was just the kid that, like, kept shooting free throws until I finally got good at free throws. Like, that was my music career. It wasn't, wow, this kid's amazing at 11 years old. It was like, oh, that was kind of cute, that kind of thing. And maybe someday he'll be something. And I had to work really hard at music to become good at it.
Right.
And fast forward 5 years go by, we, as a Western swing band, we tour and open up for the Oak Ridge Boys and Roy Clark and all of these legends and just get so many countless hours of experience on the stage. And we get to learn from some of the greatest entertainers of all time.
Yeah.
And, Roy Clark was why I chose to be a rhythm guitar player. It wasn't because that's just what frontmen do. It was like I saw Roy night in and night out be able to wow people with how he played, and I was like, I want to be like that guy.
That's really cool. And you obviously worked to that point. But it seems like these really cool moments for you when you were younger. I don't know, man. There were some like destiny moments that sort of propelled you in that direction.
No doubt, man. You couldn't have written a cooler, crazier story than mine. Hopefully we get to make a movie of it someday because you couldn't write a cooler script. I ended up on stage with Willie Nelson singing an old Bob Wills Western swing song. And that was the band had broken up because everybody went to college and I was the youngest in the group. So I was still in high school and I had this moment of like, man, do I go back to being like a regular kid? I've grown up in Oklahoma. Wrestling's a really big thing. So like, do I just go back and wrestle and maybe play some football and just be normal? Or do I restart, knowing how hard it was 5 years to build something in music with this band? Do I completely restart? And that I was leaning towards not restarting in music. And then the Willie Nelson moment happened. And I remember looking at him, he's on the mic waiting to see if I can sing or not. And he's there to save me if I can't sing. And I start singing the first few words. And I will never forget this moment. He gets the biggest grin on his face. He just nods at me and he just backs off the mic and lets me sing the whole song. And we're in front of like 10,000 people. I mean, it's a magical moment. And I remember, that moment, I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I was going to give up and there's something going, no, man, keep going. It's been a wild, crazy, winding ride. And I hope someday I get to really tell the full story because it really has been like a fairy tale, man.
And you know what? And through all that, you never gave up, did you? You knew here at the Country Top 40, you could always tell that story. And thank you for sharing what you just shared, dude. That was really something.
Thank you, brother.
Let me wrap up with this. Congratulations on Wild as Her being top 5 right now in the Country Top 40 and climbing. And what an interesting story, right, with Wild as Her. I mean, in Nashville recently, I heard that like at first Morgan Wallen was gonna consider cutting that song, but see, this is the universe back at work. This song was supposed to be for you. So if you don't mind, tell me the story behind Wild as Her.
First off, thank you. This song is changing my life in a lot of ways and enabling me to provide for my family, and I'm very grateful. And the coolest thing, I'll say this, the coolest thing about this song is I've always been a huge proponent of cutting outside songs because when I was a writer at Warner Chapel, writing songs for other people, I felt like I was writing great stuff and it maybe wasn't getting its fair shake at, seeing the light of day and somebody cutting it. And I was super frustrated by that because I didn't have access to get into the right room to make the right connection to get a song cut.
Right.
And it felt like if you didn't know the artist personally, you had no chance. And so I made a vow. I was like, if I ever become an artist, that will not be how I am. The best song, whether I wrote it or not, will make my record because I've felt how it feels to be the writer that doesn't get a shot at getting the song on the record. It is such a cool moment to have this much success with a song that I didn't write. As a writer, I think it's the most healthy thing for the songwriting community. I look at Dean Dillon and George Strait, and I'm like, man, the king of country music doesn't exist if he doesn't let the Dean Dillon's song onto the record, right? That is the healthiest way, and so much of our genre was created in that way. And now I feel like whether it's for ego's sake or money's sake or whatever, it's not often that just the best song wins. It's oftentimes who's on the song that makes the decision of whether it gets put on a record or not. And so for me, I just was passionate about that. And what's even cooler than having a hit song is having a hit song and winning with friends. Brett Tyler is a good friend of mine, and we're getting to watch his song that he wrote that I put my spin on, climb the charts and change both of our lives. How cool is that? Like,
that's amazing,
it's cooler than winning by yourself. And so I love it, man. I feel like it's a great thing for the songwriting community. I would love to see the industry go more in that way. And it's really been a cool thing to watch real great world-class songwriters start to see that I'm open-minded to that and send songs my way that they're like, man, this is a song I've loved for years, but nobody's given it the time of day. Maybe you will. I'm honored to play a small part in where I think the music industry needs to go.
And look what happened, man, when you put your paint on this song. And I have a feeling I'm going to be introducing this as the #1 song in the country top 40. Dude, man, I love your opinions, and I love your perspective and the way you do interviews and actually tell stories. Don't ever change that, man. This is just so really, really awesome. You've given
awesome, brother. Thank you for saying that. It's just a real dude talking about his real life, man. I'm passionate about it. It gets me fired up, and I'm thankful to that people are receiving it so well. It's been life-changing.